Congratulations, this is Mike McRitchie, and you're ready to get started on rewriting your resume. So I wanted to get this off to you so you can prepare properly for the rewrite. There will be a few things that I need, so I just wanted to walk through that list with you so you can get that all prepared, sent off to me, and then be ready for our next conversation. So first thing I want you to look at is, what is the purpose of this rewrite for you? Are you recently unemployed? Did they go through a round of layoffs? Was there a new challenge or promotion that you're going for? An annual review? Or are you just trying to update your resume at this time? Doesn't matter what the reason is, but that helps in terms of understanding where you're at in this process and what you're looking to get out of your resume rewrite and how that's going to be leveraged into your next opportunity. The next thing you'll need is your prior resume. It may be one you've done a year or two ago. That's fine. I just need to get a copy of that as a starting point. Then the next thing is any additional jobs that you've had since that resume. That includes the company name, city and state that company was in, or where you've worked for that company, the various positions, and in each position we want to have the title, the dates you've worked, that includes the month and year, and any accomplishments you've had in that role. You can also choose to include a job description or essentially what you did in that job, and that'll be helpful as well. Then what position are you going to be applying for, or if it's a promotion, what are you going for this new promotion? The idea here is to figure out what you're really looking for next and get really focused in crafting the resume around that new position, because it's often not what you're doing today that is going to be what goes on your resume. It's kind of queuing that up for your next opportunity. Along with that, we'll be looking at what companies are you interested in. Is there a new company you're going to get a job at that you're preparing this for that you already know? Or are there certain types of companies you're interested in? Are you interested in tech? Are you interested in something in a certain geographic location? Is your commute a driver of it? Do you want to work remote? Do you want to have flexible work schedules? That will help you determine what companies you're interested in. But what I'll be using that for is helping you understand what those companies will be looking for and making sure your resume reflects that. Next, we'll look at what you've done so far in your search. Have you been looking for a while, or are you brand new to the search right now? That'll help me give you some guidance on what you might do next and how you might approach things that you might not be considering today. Why did you decide to use my services? There's different reasons why people use a resume writer such as myself. Whether you're in the telecom industry and you already have some interest in continuing in that industry and looking for additional contacts or direction. I have 20 years of experience in the telecom industry and have been in a variety of positions, either working in those positions or managing others in those positions. So I do have some unique insights for that specific industry or more tech-related resumes. Also, you may have been in a situation where you're kind of putting off completing your resume. Maybe you struggle with writing resumes and it's not your strength. You may struggle with writing in general and you want somebody to tackle it and make it look professional because you want to make a really good first impression with that resume. So I can help you with that. Maybe you're struggling with grammar and spelling and all the mechanics of it, formatting, things like that. That's one thing that I definitely specialize in, is making sure that it looks really good on paper and it makes a good first impression. Or you may be in a situation where you just need it right away. You're under the gun to get this thing. You've got an opportunity at hand and you don't have a couple weeks to mull over how to do it and spend a lot of time researching resume models on the internet and things like that. Or maybe you just don't know what your unique skill sets are that set you apart from everybody else. And you really want to get honed in on that because you don't want to be just another one of the 200 resumes sitting in somebody's pile that doesn't make a first impression. So one of the big areas that I focus on with people is helping them understand what that skill set really is for them, what's unique to them, and what makes them uniquely valuable to a hiring manager or catching a recruiter's eyes. So we'll work on that as well. So tell me, what kind of brought you here and how can I help? We'll be looking at accomplishments in each job. So ideally, I'd love to have a group of up to 5 accomplishments that you've achieved in each job. And that's where a lot of the preparation comes in. Often I find if you don't have 5, we will work with basically what you have. But the more you have, the better opportunity we have together to hone those in on anywhere from 2 to 3 of the best, depending on how much of a job history you have. If you have 20 jobs you've worked in the last 10 years, we'll probably pick 1 or 2 of the most actionable. But if you've only had 1 job or a couple different positions, then we'll want to expand that more to like 3 to 5 and make sure they're all really solid. And so this is something just as a reminder to you for the future. I would suggest every quarter, if not every month, to review what happened that month or quarter and write down in a log file of some kind, Word file, text document, doesn't really matter what it is, but put in what it was you did, what result that achieved for the company or your boss or for you personally that is memorable, and how you actually accomplished that. So you're looking at what you did, how you accomplished it, and what result in dollars, time savings, new process you created. Doesn't matter what it is, but you want to really get specific on that. Dollars, you want to get exact. You don't want to round it to $500,000, $50,000, stuff like that. You want 50,430 or 194,000, something like that. It has a lot more credibility when it's more specific. Another thing we want to look at is what are the memorable events you've been involved with, memorable people you've worked with, companies like Apple or IBM or something like that that you've worked for, a certain situation that people outside your job or outside your industry would go, oh, that's cool. That really makes sense. Or, wow, that's awesome. I haven't heard anybody do that before. Or, oh, that's different. And it gets them to remember you and your resume when they're flipping through, spending about 6 seconds on each resume to cull them down to the ones that look most interesting to follow up with. And lastly, what's your story? We may not be able to cover this in something that you send back to me, but we'll definitely talk it through when we talk on the phone. And the key is, what makes you unique? What's basically been your story in your career? Walk me through what that's been about, what really kind of developed you as you are today. It's kind of like walking somebody through your resume or through your job history and saying, here's what I did and here's some of the different things that were really exciting when I was working at this company and got me on this path to where I'm at today. You're really telling your story, and ultimately a resume is designed to capture someone's attention, and the best way to do that is through your story. So just wanted to get those off to you so you can start preparing. If you can't get everything dialed in really well, no problem. Just send me what you have. Don't spend a ton of time on it at this point. We'll have some chances to go back and forth, and then you can dig in deeper in certain areas as you see fit, or areas that we find that we feel we need more information, a little bit better detail to make your resume pop. So get that off to me, send it to me in an email in response to uh, our connection before, and I will then take what you have, start looking through it in detail, pretty much craft a draft of your resume, which will generally have a lot of questions for you. I'll put those in red text so they just jump out at you and you can tackle those separately. And then once you get back to me with what you have on that on round two, then we'll talk on the phone and go through each in detail. That'll allow me to fine tune some of the things, get clearer on certain areas that I'm not really understanding clearly at this time, or I need a little more information to fully craft that portion of your resume. And then when that's all done, we'll go and prepare a final version for you to look at. And when that final version is complete, you'll say, yes, it looks good. I'll send you a Word document and a PDF, and that will be your final version. And then just as a reminder, because you spend a lot of time preparing this resume, and you may be applying for multiple jobs down the road, and each one ideally should be tailored, a tailored resume to that specific job, to the keywords in the job description. That's something that's a lot more important in the current environment than it had been 5-10 years ago, where everything was a hard copy resume people were looking at. Now with applicant tracking systems, keywords are so much more important. So we're going to get you a resume that you can use as the basis to be then fine-tuned for certain opportunities by changing up a few certain keywords or descriptions of things. And I'll help you understand how to do that. And if you decide you want me to knock out a few of those as well for you, we can discuss how to make that happen for you. So I appreciate you taking your first step with me, and I think you'll find that this will be an exciting first step into your journey into that new role, new opportunity. And really, as a goal, I want to give you the tools to understanding yourself, understanding what you want, and what is going to be a good next step for you in this career. And that may require doing something a little different than you're doing today, or doing more of what you're doing today, just to be that much better and more effective in your role, and really understanding what hiring managers and companies are looking for in really excellent employees, because that's really what you're trying to get across, is that by hiring you, they are making a great decision, and you will be a great asset to that company now and for the years to come. So I thank you, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.